Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm talking about my favorite books for 2020, which is why I have this t-shirt on, because it's a little heart for the books that went into my heart. I'm gonna stop. I looked upon all the 300 books I read in 2020 and I was like, what was my favorite? Because obviously I went into Goodreads and I saw all the books I rated 5 stars. But I realized that even though you rate a book 5 stars, it doesn't mean it is a favorite. I don't know how to explain the difference. Like, it was of course good and I read so many good and amazing books this year. But even though I rated a book 5 stars, I don't count it as my fave of the year. It was just a really good book. There's like the different, you have to have that fave feeling. So always in these videos, I always just pick the top ones, like the god tier ones to talk about. Because if it's gonna talk about like the super great, amazing, fantastic ones, but not the god tier ones, it would just be so many. It would be so hard to like, what's it called, separate the two. So I only picked the god tier ones, so it won't be that many, but it's never been that many in these because I always just pick like the ones I got the fave feeling on, even though there's some others that I really did love and adore. I am planning another video where I will be able to not really like talk about any in detail at least, but like mention all of the books I read and what I thought about them, and then I can talk about some of the fantastic ones. But this is only the god tier ones, but do know that I read so many other amazing books. I have actually become better at like rating 5 stars for books even that I don't get a fave feeling on, because before I only gave 5 stars to the fave feeling ones, and then it was like 2 books I rated 5 stars. But now I've been better at rating books 5 stars even though I didn't get a fave feeling, because it's a book that's 5 stars but not fave feeling. Get me? Okay, let's get started. One of the first books I read in 2020 was Jade City by Fonda Lee, and it was a favorite. It was so good and I like have not been able to stop thinking about this all year or last year or whatever we are calling it. It was just so good. I did not expect it to be amazing. It's like fave feeling a billion, and I still haven't read the sequel because like I'm scared and I don't want to be in pain yet. And also the third book and final book has actually gotten a release date, so it's being releasing later September this year. So I clearly need to reread this to have double suffering, read a second book, and then be ready for the third book. Probably do that later this year. But yeah, so this is an adult Asian inspired fantasy set on this island where jade is the kind of currency. Some people on this island that can inhale jade and thereby their senses get strengthened, or like they get super strength, etc., and the senses around them, etc. There's different things that happen to them. The more jade you have, the more powerful you can be, but there's also of course an side effect of this. On this island there's 2 clans that control the island, and follow one of the clans, like mafia clans, that is a family, and we follow the different members in that family and like how they're controlling the island, trying to control the market of jade and etc. Just controlling the clan, because these 2 clans are in conflict a lot and it's brewing on war, etc. And like the family people, by the way, they all in the beginning fell into, I would say, like a bit of trope. You feel like you know where the character is going to go, so you feel like you are predicting the book a bit in the beginning, but then it just nope. It does this thing where it just like makes all the characters you care about them so deeply after a while. It just did it so well. And also just how the story goes, so shocking. And I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm feeling my heart. And overall, I cannot speak coherently about this. But yeah, in the beginning I was just like, what's going on? I don't know anything. I was confused, and then it just became everything. It was so good. I cannot deal how solid I'm hitting this book. This book was. Justine, my friend, yelled at me for like a year to read it, and then she even picked it out on my TBR because I read it in January and she picked my TBR for that month. And then she even bought me this copy for my birthday. So like, Justine, the biggest Jade City stander, I would say. It's literally what it says on the cover: family studio, magic is power, honors everything. And it's just so good. I just cannot deal with how good it is and how brilliant it was. And yeah, so basically it has everything. It has magic, it has strong family bonds, it has mafia and badassness, magical drugs, kind of. Really recommend this with everything I have in me. If you still haven't read it, every time I see people on my Twitter feed read it, I'm just like, they don't even know what's coming to them. Pick it up, please. That is about how coherent I will be in this video, so that's great. In January I also read The Dragon Republic, and I decided to show off 2 of my copies because I could. I have both our Loom Crate editions. I have the blue spread, just ones that I had when it was released, and then the new set. and it looks so stunning. And I didn't even read it in this edition because I read it on Kindle, and I even read this twice in 2020. I read it on Kindle and then I reread it on audio together with the first book in the series right before the third book came out. And I read the whole series now and I love it. Like, it's one of my faves, but the second book just, it hits another note for me. So this is like my fave in the series. But I all of course love the series, but I picked this one. So yay. Also totally forgot to mention in the video in the beginning that I reread some of my favorite books of all time, but I won't be including them here because they are rereads and I probably mentioned them in like other years. So yeah, there's that. Either way, back to this. The Poppy War series is set in the Nikan Kingdom, where war has been a big part of the country's history. And we follow Rin, who, well, is gonna be forced to marry this old dude and she doesn't want to, so she decides to go to take this international test that they do in all the country to get into like the most prestige military school. And she gets in and then war starts basically. That's like the basics of the plot, but there's also magic, just generally a lot of death and suffering. So yeah, it's a very like dark series. It's also an adult fantasy series, as well as Jade City. It's very dark, it's very gruesome, and it's very sad. It's not like a lot of happiness, but still, it was just so good. So the first time I read The Poppy War, I was a bit skeptic because like I had high expectations. I was a bit let down. And then I read The Dragon Republic and it was everything. Like, I gave 5 out of 5 stars. It was just so solid, just how the story developed and how like smart it was. Consequences and actions, I mean the other way around, and just the characters and just everything that happened. This is heavy, by the way. Why am I holding 2 of them? I don't know, I should put 1 down. I was a big stan after that, and then I reread the 2 of them, and now I love The Poppy War as well. And then I read The Burning God, which came out in the end of the year. I still have so many conflicted feelings about it because parts of it was a bit let down for me, but still a 5 out of 5 stars solid. And a 5 out of 5 stars for the whole series, but like the end still like gets to me a bit, and there was parts of it that was just like, it was full of despair so much. There's no hope. I have talked about that a bit in other videos, but overall like I adored it. But like the second book is my favorite, and overall the series is amazing. If you still haven't read it, you should pick it up. It has a lot of brutality and horrible things in it, but we do love to suffer. So yeah, it's just brilliant. Okay, it's just very different and intense and dark. Yay, what else do we need? So yeah, Dragon Republic is still my favorite in this, and I'm so excited to read anything else with what the author comes up with. Did I even say the author name for this or the last one? If I didn't, Jade City is by Fonda Lee, and the Dragon Republic or the Poppy War series is by R.F. Kuang. So there's that. I don't know why I didn't say that. I'm just like, my brain, it's not here. That was like my 2 favorite fantasy books of the whole year, and all of the other ones are contemporary, and then there's 1 manga, and I'm a bit shocked about this list actually and how we ended up. So we have With Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, which I then found out is not how you pronounce it, and now I don't remember how you pronounce it, and I'm embarrassed again. I did not expect to fall for this book as I did, but like when looking at the books I read 5 stars, and then I remember I read this one, it fits here so well. I don't know, this book was just, it was so good. So it follows Amoni, who is 18. She is 17 and she has a 2-year-old daughter, so she's a teen mom. And then her grandma's of course also helping her, and she also wants to be a cook, a chef, whatever we call it. And she starts this culinary class at school and is trying to like find a way to also prioritize what she wants herself as well. And just like, it's a lot about food and about her family. She meets this dude also who's very cute. I don't know why this impacted me so much. Like, it was just following his story. I was in tears so many times. Just the food that made her happy, and just like the things happening around her, and just the whole story. Usually, I keep saying this, I feel more for fantasy books than contemporary, but I read so many good contemporaries this year. But this one just hit, okay? I don't even know how to describe it, why it hit so much. It just hits. I'm like, I can't stand still even. And I recommend it so much. Like, I adore all of the author's books, but like, I don't know, for some reason, this is just like 5 out of 5 stars for me. Now I kind of want to reread this too. Look at me, I always do that. Like, I read faves in 1 year and then next year I always reread them on audio because I can't stop rereading my favorite books. But it was just so good. I don't even know why. That sounds mean. I don't mean it like, I don't know why the book is good, because obviously I did. Because now it's been a while. I just like, I don't understand why I felt so much for this one specifically, but it hit hard. That's all. That's what I meant. I can't even talk, okay? We then have Felix Every Author by Case and Calendar. And I just can't deal with this book. It was just... it just hit, okay? It hit so deep, I cannot describe it. This follows Felix Love, who has never been in love and is black, queer and trans. In the beginning of the book, someone does publish his dead name and stuff around school, and he's getting threatening messages. So he's trying to find out who this is. At the same time, he is living his life, drinking and hanging out with his best friend Ezra. Yeah, trying to find out love and life in general. And it was just so good, okay? This ship hit hard, okay? I was just like skeptical of things, but then when it hit so hard. And yeah, it wasn't just good because of the ship, but it's just like the romance itself for me was everything. And usually I don't care about romance at all in this, I'm just saying, because like I'm just bored because it's like the same. There's just me, then there's like, oh, they're gonna fall in love. But here it was just a lot of back and forth and different kind of relations, and I love that because like teenagers are insecure, and yeah, I don't know, I'm just following Felix and a character who is just so much and feels so much. I could not stop reading this. It was everything. It says behind here, I never read a book more perfectly balanced as hardship, hope and happiness. And like same, like it was hard, but it was so hopeful and happy, and I cried, okay? I cried. I was actually screaming to my book when I was reading it, and now I want to reread it too. It just hits so hard, okay? That's all I got to say. It's so hard to describe why you felt so highly about the book. I think it's easier to describe why you didn't like something than describing why you liked something. But yeah, I just recommend it so much. My heart cannot take it. That's all. Then we have another one that hit me too much. That was Starius, The Great Deserves Better by Abid Khorram. And this one follows Darius the Great. His name is not actually Darius the Great, by the way. But yeah, this is the sequel to Darius the Great It's Not Okay, which follows Darius Keller. I was it Kellner or Keller? And I even reread it also in 2020, and that was my fave for 2019 whenever I read that one. Because I read that one and I did not expect it to hit so hard. Like, I was just casually going into it and I cried like a baby, and it was everything. So that one follows Starius, whose grandfather is sick, and they decide to go and visit him in Iran. And it's just about him following his culture, his family, his first best friend, and finding that out that it's okay to not be okay. He also suffers from depression and takes medication for this, and he's just struggling with a lot and have this very complicated relationship with his father that, yeah, we see why and how, and yeah, it's just very family and friendship, and just Starius, you know, it's a white contemporary. It's them finding out things in their life. And here we have the sequel, and it still follows Starius, who now struggles with other things. I don't know how to describe what the author did here, but usually I am scared in books, especially contemporary books, where like, will we follow just like the same thing, like everything resolved in the first book? Will it just be the same? I don't know how to describe it. In the issues in the second one, the author took things to a new line. I don't know how to describe it. Like, all the things that was in the first book that got, I don't know, resolved or talked about, they are of course better now. It's not like all that went into the void, but now there's new struggles and problems that the characters has, which is natural because life is never an easy line, of course. But it's just so natural going from the first one to this one, and it's just like the story still hit so hard. And I don't understand how the author managed to do that twice because I was just like, oh my god, Darius the Great is like, I have never read anything like this. It's so amazing. And then I was so scared that the second book would not hold up to that feeling. But it did. And I just don't understand. And I just don't understand the brilliance. My brain is exploding. Here Darius is, by the way, out and proud as gay. And in the first one he's more like questioning. So it's him finding out those parts of himself too, and having his first boyfriend. Don't know how the author did it, but anything this author writes ever, I will read. The capabilities, I don't understand. I don't understand. I feel like I'm like happy in my soul that it was so good, because yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Just read these two books. Don't read this one, read the first one and then this one if you haven't read it, but just read them because they're everything. That's all. And then the last manga we have here is Promised Neverland Volume 8. So in 2019, yeah, 2019 I had Promised Neverland, Volume 4 or something on my favorites. I don't know exactly which volume, because it blew my mind, okay? Promised Neverland by Kai Shirai follows this orphanage, then they find out this big secret of why they're there, and I don't want to spoil it. Can't really talk about it without spoilers, but overall, I read like the first few volumes and I was just like, yeah, sure, like we've kind of seen this kind of before, but like it's fun. And then it blew my mind. It just got so shocking, I think, at that point, because I didn't think that storyline would happen that soon, at least. Volume 4, I mean. And then I was just like, okay, now we're here, what's gonna happen? Like, is the author gonna be able to keep this level of the story, like, or is it gonna be just go to nothing? I don't know how to describe it, but after you having to read it. And then I continue with the mangas when I come home from Japan, because I didn't continue when I was there. This is volume 8, as you can see, and I don't remember specifically why exactly this one is on my face. Ooh, I think I remember when I looked through it now. But overall, just every single volume has blown my expectations away. Like, of course, it's a manga, so we use some time on certain storylines, which is what a manga do. They use a few volumes, for example, if it's a big battle, etc. But like the reveals, the ideas and the thoughts that the author has come up with, and just like what you think is a thing, it's not a thing, and it's just brilliant. I don't understand how the author has so many brain cells, because I have 0, and just like how you think the world is this way or something is like this way, and then the author just scratches it away every single time. So that the fact that this is here one of my favorites is not shocking at all, because this is like my #1 fave manga right now. I'm so excited to see also more of the anime, even though like now I've read ahead, but I'm so excited to see it happening in my face. I don't know how to describe it. And it's just so good. It's like the #1 right now, and I recommend it with all my heart if you still haven't picked it up. It's just such a good manga, full of blood and shit, because yeah. And with all these kids, I don't have words for it, how good it is. Like, how many plot twists can you have? Apparently 1 billion, this author decided. So yay. So that is my favorite books for this year. I feel like, why do I have the Dragon Republic twice? I can remove one of them. I will remove one of Dragon Republic for the thumbnail. That is like the god tier feelings for me, and I just adore them all so much. Even though I am not good at being coherent, I am sorry. And yay, that was it for my favorite books of 2020. It's also really fun to look back on and be like, what did I even like in the past years? Who knows? I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully 2021 will have more books with that Fae feeling in my heart. Leave a red heart emoji if you like this video and you made it to the end down below, and you will see me soon in a new one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye! I waved before I said bye. Bye!